Right, today we're going to show you how to put in the SSR Windjammer. Pretty cool little kit. This one here is a multicolored LED Windjammer, and we've custom etched it with some pretty cool flames. These are available in a lot of different ways. You don't have to have them with flames. You can have them plain, or you can put SSR in the middle, or you can put your names on it. We offer them a lot of different custom ways. Pretty cool unit. Your kit's going to come with a few components here. Like I said, this is the multicolored kit. So you're going to have a controller transformer, your wire connectors, a couple of pretty cool remotes. We think these are pretty neat. You're going to have some attachment hardware and your electrical switches. Tools you're going to need is a couple of drills, one with an 1/8 inch drill bit and a screw gun tip, 10mm screw, ratchet, 9/16 ratchet, Allen key, a variable size speed bit, and a pair of wire crimps. So we'll go ahead and prep the SSR. Got a kind of neat one right over here. What we're going to do is use the factory screws in this, so you don't have to drill any holes. You're not going to really have to modify the car much at all. So bring the seat all the way up. Going to need all that room. Tilt it forward, bring it, and then lock it forward with your visor. This is going to kind of open up things. Right in here, we're going to take this bumper, which your seats rest on here, from keeping you from hitting that. So we're just going to pull these out and unbolt this bumper right here. Okay. Leave your nuts in there and just kind of seal them in. We're not going to be reusing any part of this. You want to keep this for restoration purposes. Just get that out of the way. Now these are the two mounting bolts that we're going to utilize for the installation. So we're going to go ahead and grab the kit. Okay, your Windjammer is going to come with this plastic liner on it. You want to leave this on until you're done, so you don't get fingerprints all over everything. You'll take it off at a particular point in the installation. Your kit's going to come with these two specialized or four specialized bolts. These are attachment bolts that are going to screw right on to the factory stud, locking the unit to the car. So we'll just flip this up a little bit and set this in position. You're going to use your matching Allen to just kind of snug it down. These are going to go down to a point, and the stud is actually going to push your Allen out, so you're not going to over tighten them or crack the unit. And you can see that it literally takes a few minutes just to put this on. So if you didn't have an illuminated one, it'll go on just as fast as that. So now we're going to go ahead and cover these bolt heads with our special chrome caps. Your kit's going to come with these decorative chrome caps that we install via the butyl putty in the back. And this is a very reliable form of covering what is a not nice looking attachment bolt. Okay. Now, the next step is to go ahead and hook up the electronics. There's a few things you have to do. None of it is very hard at all. One of the things you got to do is kind of sneak the wire behind the center console and navigate the wires down to the fuse box area where we're going to make all our connections. Okay, now you want to get all 4 of these leads into this area right here. We're going to set up your controller for this LED light system and an on-off switch. The controller itself has an on-off switch. However, the controller always remains on, and that's because it stands ready to receive a signal from the remote that you're going to have on your key. That means that the electronics is always active. So in order to solve or prevent any dead batteries, if you're going to park your SSR for a long period of time, like a lot of our customers do, what you'll need to do is shut the system down. And this will prevent the controller from having that constant on setup, which could possibly drain the battery. So now that the wires are in, and the next step is going to mount the transformer and the cutoff switch. So we're just going to put the seat back. I'm going to go into the fuse box. Not the fuse box, the center console. Oh, your kit also comes with these little bumpers. Now that we've removed the factory bumper, you don't want the seat to be able to run back into the Windjammer, possibly scratching it or the seat. So your kit comes with the 2 furry Velcro pads that you're going to put in these 2 positions, and this will just kind of keep everything buffered up so no scratches. We've got to make a hole in the back of the console, and there's plenty of room back there to allow the connection pods to go inside. And the best way to do that is with a bit like this. You'll open up to about a 7/8 inch hole. That'll allow us to slip these into the center console, and that hole will be hidden once we mount this. So we'll go ahead and do that. Like that. Okay. Now, this is the on and off switch that I was talking about. This is what's going to cut the current completely off. And this is our control module. Now what we're going to do is we're going to set this up just like this in the back of the center console, and that'll hide the hole that we've created, and it'll look kind of matched up pretty good. So we're going to go ahead and just set these in. So now that we've got our
7/8
hole, if you want to look at that, it's just gonna kind of put it down a couple of inches, right dead center. It's a perfect location for it. What we're gonna do is to mount this, and this is just a kind of a peel and stick installation. Now, in order to make sure that it stays stuck to this plastic here, your kit's gonna have a little adhesive promoter pen. What you do is just kind of break that, let the fluid soak into the tip there, and you just want to swab this a little, and this will make sure that none of these components, fall off down the road. So we're just going to separate the power wire and the leads. Now, there's something interesting about the leads on this transformer. It comes with 2 sets of connection leads. We're only going to use one. We could have supplied this and just kind of cut the other one off, but this is actually a split transformer. It's just has 2 sides to it. It's one on and off switch, but it has 2 sides. So if one of these ever decides to fizzle out on you, you have a backup plan. So that's why we left the 2 of them in place. All right, so we're just going to go ahead and stick these in there. let them fold down into the center console. We'll be able to grab them up in there later. But go ahead and stick all this in there. Got a lot more wire than you need. Before you stick this, go ahead and shove the main switch in there too. Now that all our wires are kind of tucked through our hole into the center console, we're just going to mount this. It's a peel and stick. So we're just going to take this, kind of flick this like that, and set this just like so. Nice and neat. And the same thing with the controller. Now, once you put all this together, this will conceal the hole we made, and you'll have a nice permanent mounting. It's going to be your on and off switch. You have one here on the controller, and you also have access to manual control should your remotes fail. You'll have complete access to your kit. So now this part is done. We can just close this up, and then we'll show you how to do the connections. Now that we've routed our Windjammer connectors and the transformer connectors into this fuse box area, we'll be able to make those connections pretty easy. The next step we want you to do right now is to set up the ground. And if you notice right in here, you'll see a little of the body exposed. So we're going to ask you to drill a hole there to create a ground point. So we're just going to go in there and move this cover just to gain some room. And then we're going to just go in there and make ourselves a little hole. Your kit's going to come with a separate ground wire, a little self-tap and screw. It's easier if you pilot a hole first. Just go in there and just going to set this ground wire. And that gives you an adequate ground for the whole system. Let's get rid of these. Now the next step will be to attach our power wire. Your kit's gonna come with a connector like this with a large eyelet on it and a 7.5 point amp fuse. What you're gonna need to use is a 9/16 nut driver. And you're gonna take the factory bolt out. And then we're just going to go ahead and make our connection. Okay, now we have our ground and our power lead. So we're going to go ahead and connect the Windjammer to the transformer just to get those wires out of our way. Remember, you're only going to be using one connector. So we'll just go ahead and take these, and it doesn't matter which one goes where. They're all the same thing. Now you could put a little crazy glue if you don't want to worry about these ever coming out on you. They don't usually do, but anything's possible, I suppose. So get that out of your way. Okay. Now we can just go ahead and put our fuse box cover back on. The only reason we took this off is just so we can get some room, some working room. Now we're going to make our connections. This long wire like this comes directly from our or your transformer. And what we're going to do here is split this up, and you have a wire that's solid black. It's this one here. That's going to be your ground wire. And then you have one that's black with a white tracer. That's your power wire. Okay. Now we're going to put that power wire right on this white lead. This is the lead from your switch. It's a little bit heavier, has 3 wires in it. So you'll connect this right here. That's white to white. And we'll crimp that. Now, you have to be careful when you're crimping. It is possible to crimp this so hard that you cut the wire, put everything back together, and nothing works. That's a very common culprit. So you just gotta tack it so that it's snug, and just check it, make sure your wires aren't split or anything. Now you have your ground wire. The ground wire from the switch has only one purpose, and that is to turn on the little LEDs that are on the switch. That'll tell you whether the unit is on or off. So we'll just connect that, and then we're going to go ahead and connect those two. One's from your switch, one's from your transformer, and then this is the body ground. So we'll go ahead and connect all of these 3 wires. Okay, that's a good connection. Now, the last lead is to actually connect the power wire for the whole system to your electrical connection here. So I like to kind of double up the thickness by folding this. Okay, now that is the complete electrical connection for the whole system. Now, if you were to be installing a set that doesn't have the multicolored lights, the only difference of this whole thing is that you will not be putting in the transformer. All the connections are the same. And then of course, if it's not electrical, you're just going to put 4 bolts in and you're good. So we're going to just go ahead and close this up, and we'll run through a test. Oh, one more thing. Your kit is going to come to you with some little Velcro pads, and that's to prevent the windjammer from resting directly onto the paint. You know, when you're going down the road, this is going to vibrate some. And in order to protect the paint, make sure that you don't have any kind of damages. We've supplied these little bumpers to go along with your other bumpers here. And very easy thing to put in. You just want to this, and you'll force the unit forward. And just kind of put this right at the contact point, just like that. Now you can get these in all different kind of colors. They come in red and white and silver and tan even. So if you want to kind of color code, you can just request that when you're ordering your unit. There is a point right about here, although this isn't really touching. Not going to hurt to put a little pad. Just to make sure. We'll go ahead and put the other side. You want to try and keep this, in the seam spot. Okay, now that you've got your bumpers in and this is all done, you can just go ahead and pull this up. This is nice and clean and finished. And you can go ahead and put your seat backs. So we're going to go ahead and test the system. One thing I want to point out is that our cutoff switch that we have in here has a blue light, which means your system is off. If you don't want that blue light to be on continuous, do not hook up the ground, the black wire from the switch harness. That's the only thing that's allowing this to operate. It'll turn red when the system is on and turns blue when the system is off. So we're going to go ahead and turn this on. And your kit is going to come with a separate instruction sheet that's going to explain all the systems. It's a little bit too much to go through right now, but you can turn your system off, you can turn your system on, you can change your colors manually to green, blue, red, yellow, whichever you like. There's a speed where you can make them fade fast or slow. You can make them flash. There's all kinds of cool little things that you can do with this. We kind of like to have them fade from one color to the next.